Welcome to Vision Plus, a program featuring a positive outlook, dealing with everyday situations of marriage, children, and business. Believing Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Teacher, author, speaker, delighting audiences from New York to Sacramento with a heart and message for the people today. Bonnie would like to remind you of the 800 number on the screen. Please feel free to call at any time throughout the broadcast and share your concerns. Leave your prayer request and someone will pray with you. And now, teacher, author, and speaker, Bonnie.
Hello and welcome. I'm Bonnie Libhart. Here we are at the end of the year and the beginning of the year, and what we're going to be talking about is what the Lord has for you. And you know, it's so wonderful. In Jeremiah 29, he says, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Then you'll call on me and I will answer, and I will hear you." So if we're going to have a future and a hope, let's think about how we can make that happen. I know when we were in Waco, Texas, and I worked for a company, and they taught us goal setting. Specifically, I said I wanted my husband and I to get back together. I wanted to drive a Mercedes. I wanted some material things, a peach-colored leather sofa. I know that's kind of silly. I wanted to lose 8 pounds. Well, that part hasn't happened very easily, but it's still part of it. And I call them SMART goals, the SMART. Now, if you'd like to get a DVD with this on it, you can get it off our website or call our phone number. And the S for SMART goals is specific. You want your goals specific. I want to be 8 pounds lighter, and so that's specific goal. And then the M stands for SMART goals is measurable. We want the measurable goal. We want to say, okay, I can tell if I lose 2 pounds or 3 pounds. It's measurable. You want to save what we taught in Financial Peace University, that you should have back $1,000 emergency fund. It is not an emergency for me to buy a peach-colored sofa, leather sofa. That is not an emergency. But if my husband needs to go to the hospital, my grandchild needs to go to the hospital, that is an emergency. So we could keep the money back for that. Now, the A stands for attainable. We have to start, for me on Social Security, I have to put a little bit back each week, each month, in fact, so that I can have the $1,000 put back in an emergency fund. So that's attainable by putting if you just put back $100 a month, that's $25 a week out of whether you're on Social Security or you have a great job, you have a job that pays you mega bucks. That's an attainable goal. And the R stands for realistic. I'm 5'2", as my husband said, eyes are blue, lips like cherry wine. Well, I'll tell you what, the R is realistic. I wish I were 5'7", 8, whatever. Well, I'm not, and that's not a realistic goal for me. I could get the tallest boots in the US of A, and I still wouldn't be 5'8" or 7 or even 6. So we have to have realistic goals. Okay, how about the time? If you want by next holiday season, let's say the Christmas of 2010 or whatever year you're watching this in, say you want to save $1,000 for your emergency fund, $100 a month. So in 10 months, you could have your $1,000 saved. Or if you have big bucks coming into your family, you might do that in a month. But whatever it takes, put that $1,000 back as an emergency fund. Now, how about some things that have happened? Have you ever had things happen to you that you could not, it didn't turn out like you'd like. I know I've worked in commercial television, and in commercial television, when I was in Jonesboro, Arkansas, before moving over here, companies, I had a daily television show, and companies would send me products hoping that I would use them, given a free plug on television. Well, I didn't care about many, but a skincare company came out with anti-aging. I thought, aha, I'll try this. So I'm smearing this all over my face. My little one's watching me. What are you doing that for, Mother? I said, that's going to make me beautiful. He didn't take his eyes off. Just watch for the next 30 minutes. When I wiped it off, he said, it didn't work, did it, Mother? Well, maybe you've tried some things that did not work as well as that you'd like for it to. Well, I think we have to start out with a good attitude. To get up every morning and just say, I'm just going to dream today that I am being blessed, that I'm going to have favor with my husband, with my children, with the people where I work, and just have an incredible time. I wanted to share what I call my treasure chest of goals. These were some goals that I had, and I wanted little silly things, really. I wanted what's called a rhythm clock. So I went to a estate sale, was able to buy a rhythm clock because they're one of the clocks that just goes around, and they're just so soothing for you to go to sleep at night. Then I wanted some Whisper silk sheets. So I had to watch one of the places was going out of business, so I was able to get that. Now, I want to speak worldwide, and we've done that. My husband, my son, Tony and Anthony and I got to go on a worldwide speaking tour. We were going with Women's Glow and also a church in Malmö, Sweden, and we went to Karachi, Pakistan, New Delhi, India, about 15 or 17 places in Europe. But I forgot one thing. I said, speaking worldwide and get paid for it. We didn't get paid very much for it, but so the next goal is to go again and get paid this time. Okay, I wanted a bestseller book, not because of any that would be great to have a bestseller, but because I think that it would help a lot of people. And then also, I want my children and grandchildren saved, serving the Lord. And then one, what I call Lily Alt person a year. Now, Lily Alt is a person that we invited to church with us. She wasn't going to church. She went to church. She got saved, and her son got saved, her daughter got saved, her son went to preaching school, her daughter went to a Christian school, had several children, they did, and we went back about 20 years after that, and there are the three daughters that, three grandchildren were grown, serving the Lord. What an incredible thing. So I'd like to do that every year, have at least one, as I call them, Lily Alt persons to become to the Lord, serve the Lord so faithfully that they bring their children, their grandchildren to the Lord. So that was another one of mine. And now I wanted my glasses or my eyes healed or some new glasses. I was able to get that. I wanted to be respected by the people, and I think that I've achieved that. So you write down your treasure chest of goals, long range, short range. As you can see, the short range goals of getting my glasses new glasses, that could be a short range goal. A trip around the world might take a while. I'd like to see the Aurora Borealis Northern Lights. I don't know if I could take the minus 50 degrees below zero, but that's something I've wanted to do. My husband and I to go to Alaska and maybe take you with us. We would love to do that. We went on many trips. I had this I got from Zig Ziglar. It's called the Performance Planner. And what it is, it's just your appointment book. So you need an appointment book. If you don't have one, we got so many of them sent to us, just little small ones. I'll be happy to send you one. It won't be a big one like this, but it will be. And I put my legacy in that. Now, one of my legacies is my ancestors were in the Revolutionary War. So I wanted to complete my Daughters of American Revolution statistics. So I think that will be completed possibly by the end of the year 2009, but certainly the spring of 2010. If you want to do something, I spoke to the women in Texas. You know, Texas is a state where we lived for a decade. My daughter says that's where she's from. Texas, the people in Texas have to vote every year if they're going to stay a part of the United States. They have to elect to stay in the United States. I'm not sure I would elect to do that sometimes when what's going on in our government in Washington, D.C. and around the world with some of our elected officials. I wanted to write in my computer what my father, my grandfather, my mother, my daughter, my husband, and me had written in the margins of our Bibles. That's just a little thing but only I can do that. Some things that only you can do. I know we moved from what I call a large house, 6,563 square feet, to a small house in the 2,000 square feet range. And we had to get rid of a lot of things. So going through things, you can't just throw the boxes away. You have to go through those boxes. I found my daughter's birth certificate in one of the boxes. If I'd have thrown okay, these have been up in the attic, I'm throwing them away. We can't do that. We have to take the time. And during the wintertime and the snowy time and the sleet and cold, that's a great time to get in front of the fireplace or somewhere warm and go through those boxes and throw away most of them. But there are some things you may find in there you want to keep. I have the hardest time throwing away things that my children drew for me and painted for me when they were in elementary school, my grandchildren. But I figured out what to do with them. Tony, my husband, got me an Apple computer. So last year we took our daughter, who was a Russian interpreter, many of you know. She got killed. And so we took her pictures and many things that she had written, and we put them in a book, and you now can buy that book, Emily book, off of our website, or let us know here. I have been asking people, and I ask you, what do you see when you pray? And so I want to know when people pray, do they close their eyes? Do they open their eyes? Do they look up? What do they hear? Do they be silent and listen for a while? So I'm writing that book, What Do You See When You Pray? Another book that I'm writing, and actually have an agent for it, is called Bonnie and the German Prisoners of War. So you want to write your legacy. Everyone listening and viewing, you have a book inside of you. And all of the Christians in the world need to write the good books, the legacy for their children, for their grandchildren. I wrote the memoirs, went to a class. I teach a class on memoir writing, and we have it sometimes here in our home, have had it. And I want to take the videotapes that we have taken in the past, and maybe you could do the same thing, and put them on DVDs. It's easier to keep DVDs than it is the big thick videotapes. So you want to take and do the same thing for the cassettes that we have to complete to get those onto DVD or CDs. They don't have to go in. So I wrote my legacy down. One of the legacies that I had written was to read the Bible on tape. And you may want to do that, at least Psalms and Proverbs, or something that means something to you. And now I want to get those cassette tapes into the computer so that I can get CDs. And like my one daughter had asked for the Bible on tape. She said, "But Mother, I want you to do the speaking. Wouldn't you love to have your mother, your grandmother's voice reading the Bible on tape? Wouldn't that be wonderful? So it has to do with what I call these SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and within a time frame. Those goals can be something you can do, and there's a lot of things only you can do, because God gave each one of us a gift, and He put it inside of us to develop, and through that development, to bless other people, our children, our grandchildren, our siblings, our parents, our friends, our relatives. And we start with, a lot of times, our attitude, which is really one of your most priceless possessions. Some of you can change today just by your attitude. And you might say, well, what's my attitude? It's the way you look at things, the way you think about things, the way you act, the way you feel. You can get up this day and say, I am going to have a good day today. I'm sure some of you remember Zig Ziglar's brother that told the story about when during the Depression, hope we don't come to that again, but his mother and he had to go out and break the ice and wash, because in the wash tub it would freeze over during the night, and they washed their greens and spinach and so forth, and then they would, the hands would be freezing. Have you ever stuck your hand into freezing water? Well, Zig Ziglar's brother, Judge Ziglar, was every morning his mother would start the fire in the wood cook stove like we had when I was growing up, and then she'd put some wood in. It would be nice and toasty. Had a little three-legged stool out in the kitchen. Give Judge Ziglar, even though he's a little boy, a little bit of coffee and a whole lot of milk, and warm it up, and he'd sit there and sip his milk, and he called it coffee, warm coffee and milk, but mostly milk, warm milk, little sweetener in it, honey, and sit there a while, and then they had some oatmeal to eat. They'd eat their oatmeal, and then they'd go out and start their job. Well, one morning he got up and he said, or he was in bed, and his mother said, get up, we're going to have a good day today. And that was what she would say to him every day. We're going to have a good day today. He said, I'm not having a good day. I don't want to put my hands in the icy water. She said, okay, that's all right. You just stay there. About 10 o'clock in the morning, she came in to get her a drink of water. He got out of the bed and went into the kitchen and said, hey, I'm ready for my coffee, hot milk now. And she said, oh, no, you chose to not work today and to stay in bed. You have to go back to bed. Well, can't I have anything to eat, my oatmeal? She said, oh, no, you said it was going to be a bad day today, and you didn't want to get up and go do your work. So she made him go back to bed, and she made him stay in bed all day long with no food, no coffee with milk in it and sweet honey, nothing warm, and nothing the whole day, the whole night. That's what I call tough love. So the next morning she came in and she said, good morning. It's going to be a good day today. He hopped out of that bed and went to that kitchen and sat on that three-legged stool. She fixed him that warm milk with a little tiny bit of coffee in it and some honey and the oatmeal, and he had a wonderful day and went outside with a great attitude to work in the icy water to get the greens washed off so they could take them to the mercantile store that was owned by a Jewish family in the little town about 3.5 miles from where they lived. And they got some money, enough for some more sugar, some more honey, a little flour, and she was raising some eggs, but they really needed 2 or 3 more to make some cake because the holiday was coming up, and she had the flour and she got the sugar, but she needed a few more eggs to make a wonderful cake. And actually, sugar cookies, it was her favorite, that she had kept back some orange peels that she shredded so they could go into the sugar cookies. Have you ever done that? If you want the best recipe in the world, you contact me, because my husband's mother made the best sugar cookies. They would puff up this big, and they were so good you could make a meal out of those anytime, day or night. So some of you are going to be changed, and everything's not going to go perfect. When I was doing the radio program for about 6 years prior to starting television, I went to my neighbor's house. I don't know about you, but I like to go to estate sales and yard sales. In fact, I saw one day, and I said to my husband, Tony, I said, honey, there's an estate sale. He's real quiet, and then he said, which storage will we put it in? He knew we needed nothing else in our house. But I did go to the yard sale that my neighbor had, and it was a perfect shirt, blouse that I bought, and I wore it that day. I went to the radio station. I went to the grocery store. I went to my kids' to their schools, and you know what? Everybody I met had the biggest smile on their face. Hi, Bonnie. Hi. And they were almost laughing. And I thought, wow, I got favored today. Everybody in the whole community is speaking to me and speaking, and they have such smiles on their face. I got back home that day. I walked inside the vestibule, and I looked down, and I thought, what is that on my clothes? And I looked at it closer, and there's a big masking tape sign that said $1. So everybody knew I had bought my blouse at the yard sale, and I paid $1 for it because the masking tape sign was still on it. We have to learn to laugh at ourselves, no matter what happens. That's our attitude. It's the way of thinking, the way of acting, the way of feeling, and our disposition that it's transmitted to others. I know you've heard probably the story about the little boy. They lived on the mountainside, and he was having such a bad day and mad at his mother because she was making him do her homework. She was homeschooling during the winter time when they couldn't get through the 3/4 mile that they had to walk through the mud, snow, and ice to get to the school bus. So he's going out the door saying, I hate you. Got out there, and he was still yelling, I hate you, mother. I hate you, mother. Back across the valley came the words, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. And so he went running back into the house, and he said, Mother, there's a little boy that's yelling at me saying, I hate you, I hate you. And she said, honey, you go outside and you yell to the little boy, I love you, I love you, I love you. Back across the canyon came the voice, I love you, I love you, I love you. You know, what we give out is what comes back to ourselves. And so our good book talks so much about that we do truly have to learn to trust in the Lord with all our heart, lean not upon our own understanding. In all our ways acknowledge the Lord, and He will give us the desires of our heart. Remember that we want Him to guide our way. And remember that you go and pick up in the Old Testament, Jeremiah 29:11, and you see, for I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Let's start 2010, or if this is later in another year, another time, whatever year it is, let's make those long-range plans and goals, those short-range plans and goals, and let's make a decision that we're going to have a good year today. Maybe we'll have to stick our hands into some icy water, and maybe we will have someone yelling back across the mountain and from the other side of the mountain, I love you, I love you. And God will love us and give us that loving heart that we have. I'm glad you joined us. And there's 3 keys for this year for your goal setting, the long range, short range, tangible, intangible goals. And these 3 keys are in what I call fun. Fun is an acronym for focus on what you want to achieve in your life. The U is for unglue from the past, all the unhappy things that happened in the past. And you go forward and you start it now, because that's going to be your good news, your dream vacation, all the things that you want to happen. And you can, as the good book says, do all things through Christ who gives us strength. And we are trusting in the Lord. And I want you to also look up Psalms 84:11. And it says, the Lord is your sun. What does the sun do? Gives us light, lights our way. And shield. What does a shield do? Protects us from harm's way. And he will give grace and glory. What's grace? That's favor. Favor we don't really deserve, but we get it anyway. And glory, that's the Lord building us up. And the one thing I wanted to say to you also is that each of us has been placed here on earth and given life for some grand purpose. Each of us was given a life to live. And your purpose can be accomplished only by you, because each of us are a separate snowflake, just like the snowflakes. We're all different, and you can be you better than anyone else can be you. And I just want to find gratitude. Sometimes I get jealous or envious of other people's what it seems like their good news, their good fortune, and then I remember to have gratitude for what I have. And I'm thankful that I have a loving husband, a loving family, and a home, roof over my head, food to eat. So I'm thankful, and I want to pass that along to you. So if you'd like to have a DVD for goal setting, by all means, get in touch with us, 256-217-0708, or to email drbonnie@me.com. And I'm just so happy that you joined us, and you have a blessed day. God bless you, and thank you for watching.